I'd like to welcome everybody to my podcast. I am your gracious host, Jupiter 9. And in today's show, guys, we are going to talk about reparations, man. And should we so-called blacks receive reparations? And we're going to discuss this in this episode today because this is something that's been long overdue, and it's owed to us. It's owed to us. It's owed to all our families. You know what I'm saying? People who are called so-called black. And I say so-called black because there's no such thing as black people. You know what I'm saying? We're not black. Know what I mean? Just like Caucasians are not white. Know what I mean? Those are all status labels. But I'm not gonna get into that in this episode. Know what I mean? So we're gonna get into it, man. Now, everybody knows that blacks have suffered in America, you know what I'm saying, for a very, very long time. We have been through all types of roadblocks, you know what I'm saying, that always are in our way to stop us some kind of way, to throw us in jail easily some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Always a roadblock in our way, some type of, way to deter us from reaching financial independence. And it just seems like nobody wants us to be independent. You know what I'm saying? Many times over the course of history, we have tried to break away from the establishment, break away from the system, you know what I'm saying, do our own thing. And our ancestors were, bombed, houses were bombed, businesses were bombed, set on fire, and they went to so much of a they went out their way to destroy everything we tried to build on our own. You know what I'm saying? And people can say, oh, well, how come you guys don't just do it again, this, that, and the third? While, the so-called Jews have had 100-year head start of us. And everybody knows the Caucasian has had a major head start in front of us for 100 years. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has had their financial jump start except for us. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to us, we have to figure it out. And the great thing about us being that we're such a wonderful people, you know what I'm saying, and such a gifted and talented people, even though systems throw roadblocks in our way, but we still find a way to become millionaires and billionaires. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's not a lot of us, but we still find a way. You know what I'm saying? And we still find a way to get that money to run businesses legally. You know what I'm saying? And we all know that there is some type of system in place that we can't get loans. You know what I'm saying? If we do get a loan, they charge us more in interest rates. You know what I'm saying? If we sell our home, they give us the worst bid on our home. You know what I'm saying? They give us the lowest bid to sell our home. And these are studies that have been done. You know what I'm saying? They had this one thing on TV one time. I seen it a couple of years ago. So-called black couple tried to sell their home, and they got one estimate from the home from the person who gave them the estimate. What is it called? Anyway, one person gave them an estimate of the value of the home. You know what I'm saying? So they'll know where to set their price, and they lowballed them. You know what I'm saying? But then they had a Caucasian couple try to, sell the home, and they gave them a price that was over the market value of the home. You know what I mean? And a lot of this stuff goes on in the system. Like I said, they too try to do things to keep us down. You know what I mean? But we find a way. You know what I'm saying? But we all know about the roadblocks if you so-called black. The killings that happen to us by police officers and law enforcement. You know what I mean? We all see it on the TV each and every week. how we're taken out by police, you know what I'm saying? And nothing is done. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to our pain and struggle and sorrow, nothing is done about it. You know what I mean? And, you know, if you know your true history, you know that your ancestors built this country straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? Your ancestors built this country. And I'm speaking to the people who call themselves black. Your ancestors built this country. You created the first governments on this planet. You know what I mean? This is how the government learned how to create government from what you did in the past in Kemet. You created the first governments. Everything invented was invented by us, but stolen, you know what I'm saying, by another group of people, and they took the credit for it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff, man. We invented a lot of things that was taken from us, our ideas. Security cameras we invented, the cell phone we invented, the super soaker we invented, the remote control we invented, the TV we invented. I mean, I can go on and on. We invented the first automobile. You know what I'm saying? Then Ford took the plan and he mass produced it. A lot of times we can't do stuff like that because we don't have the funds and we never get the backing. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. But a lot of things we invented, you know what I'm saying? We don't get the credit for it. You know what I mean? And you're not taught this stuff in school. You know what I'm saying? Not only are we whitewashed in history, we whitewash everything we have done in this country. You know what I'm saying? It's been whitewashed, you know what I'm saying? Not whitewashed, but just erased. You know what I'm saying? Out of textbooks. You never see anything about us building this country, you know what I'm saying? Starting the first governments, you know what I'm saying? Or anything like that. We help write the Constitution. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you won't learn this stuff in school. No, I mean, they won't teach you this stuff in school. You have to do your own research on your own. You know what I'm saying? We were the first ones in America. You know what I'm saying? But you were taught that, you know, you came over here by ships and all that. You know what I'm saying? And this is so on and so forth. And, you know, they're always saying that, you know, we should pick ourselves our bootstraps, stop complaining. You know what I'm saying? To a certain extent, I agree. I'm not the one who blames anybody for anything. I just go out and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? But at a certain point, you be like, well, you see this group of people, you know, moving forward and they owning everything, and we don't own nothing. And you turn around, it's like, you know, I've never worked for somebody who looked like me. Never. It's always been a Caucasian man or a Caucasian woman who were part of the hiring process. Never had my own hiring me, straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, growing up in Buffalo, New York, which is one of the top racist cities in America. You know what I'm saying? Buffalo's still segregated, kind of, to a certain extent, still to this day. You know what I'm saying? Where you got the Latinos in the west, on the west side, you got the so-called blacks on the east side. And, you know, North Buffalo is like the Caucasian college kids or whatnot, artsy kids, whatever. But it's still kind of segregated still to this day. And you still got racism rampant in Buffalo, New York, still to this day. I think it's like a lot like that in upstate New York, period. But, you know, as far as reparations go, yes, we were old. Hell yeah, the oldest reparations, man. America paid the Chinese reparations. Like, come on. Like, and I'm gonna go through the list of people that have received reparations. You know what I'm saying? Got their reparations, and this is why the Chinese are where they at. You know what I'm saying? As far as like restaurants and having their own little section, Chinatown. Where's our own little section? Anytime we want to break away and do our own thing, people are like, oh no, we need to come together. It's all about unity, which is true to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we want our own too. We want our own hospitals. We want our own schools. We want our own everything. You know what I mean? Just straight up and down. If you're an adult, you always want to be on standing on your own 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? You think a lot of us want to be, you know what I'm saying, begging people for jobs and all that every time we turn around? No. I know I don't. You know what I mean? I'm at the point now, I'm ready to build my own thing, my own empire, my own, you know what I'm saying? I want to own a grocery store. All these things are obtainable today with the internet. You can do these things, you know what I'm saying, if you know how to promote and stuff like that. But reparations is definitely due, and it's been due, you know what I'm saying? So let's go over some of the people who had actually received reparations. And we're going to start off with 1952, Germany. Now, Germany paid $822 million to the Holocaust survivors, German Jewish settlement. So Germany paid $822 million in 1952. You know what I'm saying? So 1971, U.S. paid $1 billion plus 44 million acres of land to Alaska Native land settlement. So to the Alaskans, they paid $1 billion plus 44 million acres of land to Alaskan natives. 1980, U.S. paid $81 million to Klamaths of Oregon. $81 million. You know what I'm saying? Next one. 1985, U.S. paid $105 million to Sioux of South Dakota. $105 million. This is 1985. 1985 again. The U.S. was busy paying reparations. This one's to the. This is $12.3 million to Seminoles of Florida. They paid $12.3 million. 1985. 1985 again. U.S. paid $31 million to Chippewas of Wisconsin. So they had paid $31 million. 1986. U.S. paid $32 million. 1839 Treaty, Ottawas of Michigan. So they paid them $32 million. Now this is not the U.S. 1988, Canada paid $230 million to the Japanese Canadians. In 1988, Canada paid 250 square miles of land, Indian and Eskimos of Canada. And then in 1990, Australia paid $25 million to Holocaust survivors, Jewish claims of Australia. So Holocaust survivors, Australia, 1990, and in 1990, U.S. paid $1.6 billion, or 220,000 each, to Japanese Americans. Now, see, everybody's been paid, you know what I mean, for their reparations. Where's our reparations? You know what I'm saying? And I think that, and this is just my opinion, that people are afraid that if we get a certain amount of money in our hands, and they know what we're doing with so little right now, and how much we're, you know what I'm saying, coming up just off the little tiny bit of bread that we have, and we making things happen with just a little bit of tiny bread. You know what I'm saying? People are afraid that we're going to pass them. Now, could that happen? Maybe. I don't know. It depends on what people do with the bread. Are they going to do the right thing with the bread? Or are they going to do the wrong thing? I don't know. But, I mean, something's got to give. Like I said, this country is built on free labor. And, you know, everybody has benefited who lives in this country, who immigrants have came over in this country. When, first of all, we were already here and we were prisoners of war. You know what I'm saying? We were already here. And, you know, we had immigrants come and steal the land from us. And then turn around and label another group of people, the Native Americans of the land, what they call the $5 Indians. You know what I'm saying? Because these people pay $5 to get that status from the government. You know what I'm saying? To take the land from us. And then the government turned around and said, since you're in agreement with this, you know what I'm saying, you pay us $5 and then we'll give you, you know what I'm saying, reservations and you know, the casinos and the land to do all that stuff. And we'll label you the Indians. Know what I mean? This is what happened. This is why, so-called black people title change every year. You know what I'm saying? It goes from, color to, the N-word to African American. You know what I'm saying? And now it's just, you're just black. You're just, nothing. Look up the origins of the word black and look up the meaning of the word black in the dictionary. You know what I'm saying? You're not black. So this was a title that was put on us through, propaganda with, so-called African American leaders, Jesse Jackson and stuff like that, push the narrative with the word black. But you're not black. You know what I'm saying? You never were black. There's no such thing as a black nation or black Americans. There's no such thing as white Americans. You know what I'm saying? It's all colorable law. Status. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? But is reparations due? Absolutely. 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 And I remember like a year ago, someone asked Vlad this question on Vlad TV, that should black Americans receive reparations, and he said in the form, not money, but in the form of education. You know what I'm saying? And that's bull, because no one said that when Japanese were getting their reparations and the Chinese were getting their reparations. Nobody brought up education. Like, well, how come we just can't get the bread and do what we want to do? Again, it's fear. People are fear of, us surpassing them. You know what I'm saying? The energy on the planet is changing, and more people are waking up to the fact that, they need to own their own thing. They need to become business owners. And they're fear of us, transforming and multiplying and coming together business-wise, you know what I mean? And forming a thing like the Jewish people, you know what I mean? They're afraid of that, the unity. You know what I'm saying? I don't have nothing against the Jews or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I think what they done and how they stick together is great. And I wish we did that, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like an envious thing in a way, like, you know what I mean? How they stick together and, they're very business minded, you know what I'm saying? They're about their business, about their bread. And I wish we were like that, you know what I'm saying? So it's sort of like an envious thing, somewhat, you know what I'm saying? From a not a negative perspective, but like from a positive perspective. Like, yeah, man, I want us to be like that too. You know what I'm saying? I wish families would stick together like that, through thick and thin. Yeah, I think that's how everybody should be, man. Everybody should think like that. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to family and their own people, like, they should think like that. Have their back no matter what. That's how it should be. And when it comes to reparations, yes, we're owed reparations, man. It's way overdue. The government know it. You know what I'm saying? People working in government know it. They know they gotta cut the check eventually. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, they have lied to not only us, everybody. You know what I'm saying? History is a lie. Everything you've been taught in this matrix is a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, we owe this, man. And no ifs about it. But in the state of California, Californians, the state task force boosts reparation figures to $36,000 for each black Californian. So, Californians, black people in California, so-called black people in California, could be receiving reparations on the form of $36,000. I'm gonna see what this article say. I'm gonna read a little bit. Reparation task force in California has increased the amount of money it was once taxpayers to hand out in compensation for racial discrimination and enslavement. After the first proposing $220,000 payments last year, California Reparation Task Force proposed at a meeting Friday that every black citizen in the state being given a $360,000 check. The project could cost as much as $640 billion, but there was no word on how it would be funded in cash-strapped state. If California can admit its sins and change the narrative, then there is a way forward for states and cities across the nation California Secretary of State Shirley Webb, who authored the bill creating the task force, said. The task force met Friday for the first session of its 2-day deliberations over how much reparations each black citizen who descended from an enslaved ancestor in the U.S. is entitled to, and how those reparations will be distributed. The payments could be made directly to those qualified or in the form of investment in education, health care, and home ownership for black communities. There are roughly 1.6 million African Americans living in Golden State. The group reached the proposed $640 billion fund total by using a model that elevated the state's racial wealth gap by calculating damages related to specific injustice such as housing discrimination, mass incarceration, and health harms. A history of housing discrimination against black Californians make up a significant portion of the compensation the panels recommends. Several black communities were brought out or seized through unlimited domain to be bulldozed for infrastructure projects, according to the panel's findings. The task force previously reported that white households on average own 9 times more assets than black households. See the gap, the wealth gap between, so-called blacks and the rest of the population in America is enormous. Like I said, we're 100 years behind. To be generous, maybe 50, but we're definitely 100 years behind of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have received absolutely nothing. Everybody else has had their piece of the pie, living good, you know what I'm saying? Able to start businesses, start their own thing, create generational wealth, but we're told to, look the other way and just figure it out on our own. Where everybody can easily get mortgage loans, banking loans to start businesses, you know what I'm saying, with low interest rates. And when it comes to us, when we go for loans and stuff like that, they want to give us the highest interest rate possible. How do I know? Because when I had a mortgage, I got the highest interest possible, and it wasn't because of my credit score, because my credit score was in the 700s when I got my mortgage, and I still had a ridiculous high interest rate mortgage on my house. The government laws and policies perpetuating badges of slavery have helped white Americans accumulate wealth while erecting barriers that have prevented African Americans from doing the same. The panel states, these harms compounded over generations resulted in an enormous gap in wealth between whites and African Americans today in the nation and in California. A final report will be issued before July 1st, 2023. And this is the New York Post. And this article was posted on March 4th, 2023 at 12:14 a.m. And that's a fact. Like, the wealth gap was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It was ridiculous. And, this is why, like, when I just said myself that I never worked for somebody who looks like me, I never have. This is why, because everybody's had the head start. And people don't think about this stuff when they be talking this mess about, how come we don't do this? Say all we do is complain. You know what I mean? We have a reason, because everybody's had this humongous head start financially, and we getting on the scrapes and crumbs of everything. And then when we try to do something, somebody wants to tear it down, bomb it, set it on fire. So, people don't think about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? They just come here and think we just complaining just to be complaining. Now, me personally, I don't complain. I just get up and do what I got to do and figure out a way. But, still, I mean, if I had $360,000, man, that would make it so much easier for me to do what I want to do financially for myself, or start a business for myself. You know what I'm saying? There wouldn't be no struggle in that. And this is what I'm talking about. Everybody having this huge head start. And like I said, we get the crumbs. You know what I mean? But reparations, yes. We must get reparations for what we've been through, not only in the past, you know what I'm saying, and us not getting the credit, but what we're going through still to this day. I mean, we're still going through stuff still to this day in 2023 and beyond. Like, we're still going through the same mess, just in a different mask. And, it's not fair that everybody has had their piece of the pie or has been paid for the wrongdoings that their ancestors went through, except us. And it's just like, it's unfair. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do one for one, you gotta do it for all. You know what I'm saying? If your family has been wronged, or if your people have been wronged, if you do for one, you gotta do for all. You know what I'm saying? It's karma. If you don't correct the karma, it's gonna affect your life. You gotta correct the karma, man. And you can see what's going on with America today. While it's falling, this is just my opinion. I believe this is why America is falling, is because they haven't did right by us. You know what I'm saying? The original people of the planet, not only just America, but of the planet. They haven't did right by us. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I see it. Like I said, you go to these schools, you don't learn your history. You learn all of it Caucasian, and when you do learn a little tiny bit of your history, it's the same people. You know what I'm saying? Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, you were a slave on boats, the same old stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? The same four people. You know what I mean? And if you truly want to learn your history, you have to buy books, you know what I'm saying, and learn it on your own, and learn the truth. And that's what was different about the generation I was coming up. We were all about trying to learn about our history, getting knowledge of self. You know what I mean? Because we knew what they were kicking in school. That wasn't the real. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was some BS. You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of people didn't do well in history class, because we knew it was false. You know what I'm saying? You knew it was false. So we didn't even bother trying to pass history. Or we'll pass history by the bare minimum. Like, you know what I'm saying? You only need a 65 to pass, so people just got the bare minimum just to pass the class. But we knew it was all false. Everything is just, was about Europeans and what they did. But you know what I'm saying? You didn't learn. Let me tell you this. You didn't learn about not only our own history, but you didn't even learn about what the Chinese did here. Like, you know what I'm saying? The history, like Chinese people have a deep-rooted history in America too. You know what I'm saying? The Chinese, the Irish, like, you know what I'm saying? You didn't learn none of this stuff. You didn't learn nothing about the Irish. You didn't learn nothing about the Chinese. No, you don't learn nobody's history, except European. All European, you know what I'm saying? You didn't learn nothing. You didn't learn nothing about nothing. You didn't learn nothing about the East Indian history. Like I said, Chinese history. You didn't learn anything about Mexican history. Like, nothing, man. It's just been all one-sided the whole time. The whole time I've been alive, everything's been one-sided. Like, there's no diversity. You know what I'm saying? It's been all one-sided since I've been on this planet. I go for a job as Caucasians hire me. Like, I've never seen an East Indian boss or no other ethnicity. It's just been all Caucasian. And is anything wrong with it? No and yes, because it needs to be more diverse. You know what I'm saying? America's diverse. It needs to be more diverse. You know what I'm saying? But far as us getting slated and slacked, absolutely. And the way the media portrays us is BS. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make us less than. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to make us look like savages and less than. That's BS too. You know what I mean? That's BS too. Because they only show us one way, you know what I'm saying? Or a scenario one way, and that's for everybody, and that's BS. There's good and bad in all people. All people of all nationalities, good and bad. So just to be putting a spotlight on everything bad about one group of people is BS, man. I really hate that, man. They do it in movies, they do it in commercials, you know what I'm saying? On all aspects of TV, they do it. That's why I try not to watch a lot of TV too, as well. But definitely, we are due reparations, and I'm 100% on the board with us receiving reparations for the atrocities that we have endured in America. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I gotta say for this episode, this podcast episode. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Please share this with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Highly appreciate it. But yo, that's my take. I'm your gracious host, Jupiter 9, and I want to say peace and love to everybody. Take care. One.